Hypocrite. VDL bring out new trading measures counter China's influence only to increase own power. Brussels is mulling new trading measures to counteract China's geopolitical standing in the world, in a bid to increase its superstate powers. The European Commission will propose today a new trade defence measure designed to combat non-European Union countries wielding undue pressure on any of the bloc's members, but the plan already faces scepticism within Brussels. The new measure could for example be deployed in the form of trade or investment restrictions on China over the pressure it is exerting on Lithuania after it allowed Taiwan to open a de facto embassy there, according to diplomats familiar with the proposal. China downgraded diplomatic relations with Lithuania, and officials in Vilnius say Beijing has also imposed blocks on its exports and pressured companies in third countries not to do business with the small Baltic state. Greens MEP Reinhard Bütikofer said, if any proof was needed that the EU needs an effective instrument to protect itself against economic coercion by third countries, China's blackmailing pressure on Lithuania has now provided it. China denies any wrongdoing. Mr. Bütikofer, himself subject to Chinese sanctions, said that for the Commission proposal to be effective it must not allow just one EU country to block action, pointing to Hungary's closer ties with Beijing and previous use of a veto. The proposal, which will need to be approved by both the European Parliament and the grouping of EU countries called the Council, has already sparked concerns among some member states. An EU diplomat said, we can expect intensive discussions. France, which will hold the rotating EU presidency in the first half of 2022, supports the measure, but more free market-oriented states, such as Sweden and the Czech Republic, regard it as potentially protectionist and liable to draw the EU into tit-for-tat trade wars. Sweden and the Czech Republic voiced their fears in a paper, warning the Commission that any prospective autonomous EU tool needs to avoid any doubt about its full compliance with public international law. They added that the extensive foreign policy impacts, and asked for capitals to be fully engaged in the decision-making. Economic coercion should be very clearly defined, they say, and measures should only be taken if this violates international law and only if it is in the EU's interest to act. Some EU member states say they will need to have a say in any deployment of such measures, rather than leave decisions to the Commission, the EU executive. For sanctions used in foreign policy, governments have a veto power. Another EU diplomat said, we need to be very attentive on how broad the measure is. One EU official told Politico that the idea that the EU can take measures alone against certain countries is a conversation from a previous era. MEP Christoph Hansen, the EPP's international trade spokesman, also warned, we do not want this instrument to open a global trade arms race and strengthen protectionist tendencies. It must be a deterrent before all, and remain fully aligned with WTO rules. Once it becomes law, the proposal would add to an armory of EU measures that include screening of foreign investment, limits on firms benefiting from foreign subsidies and curbs on public procurement for businesses of countries that do not open up their markets. Meanwhile, on another news, Lithuania's dispute with China escalated after local media reported that goods from some of its companies were barred from entering Chinese ports. Foreign Minister Gabrielius Landsbergis described the move as unannounced sanctions on Friday and said Lithuania will seek assistance from the European Commission next week to solve the issue. It's unprecedented when one EU member state is being partially sanctioned, he said. Local media reported that some of the Baltic nations' forestry and furniture goods are being held up at ports after Lithuania was deleted from China's electronic customs declarations system from December 1. Lithuania hasn't received any official comment on the matter from China. The European Commission said it's in contact with Lithuania and the EU's delegation in Beijing to verify the information. We've been informed that Lithuanian shipments are not being cleared through Chinese customs and import applications are being rejected, said Nabila Masrali, a Commission spokesperson. Less than 1% of Lithuania's exports go to China and the decision should have no fundamental impact on its economy, Finance Minister Gintaras Skaiste said. Tensions between China and Lithuania have been escalating since Taiwan opened a representative office in the Baltic nation's capital last month, something Beijing deems disrespectful to Chinese sovereignty. China recalled its ambassador and downgraded ties with Lithuania to the level of chargé d'affaires. Lithuania says it respects the One China principle. Lithuania says it respects